Y'all know what this is? Y'all know what this is? This is our Wilt moment. Episode 100 of Birds and Blues Sports, formerly known as Sports Talk with Zach and Jason. Episode 100. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Oh, that was very, very funny. We have Pete, Ray, and the fellow co-founder of the show, Mr. Gold, is here for the very prestigious and special episode 100. Got him away from some daddy duties for a couple hours to be here with us. We were hoping Dan was going to be with us. Maybe he joins halfway through. That's very be a possibility. But in that case, let's get this show on the road. And the best way to start it is by talking about the team we all agree on, and that is the New York Yankees, who have decided to call upon George Steinbrenner's ghost and have traded for Juan Soto to bolster the outfield, get a lefty bat in there, arguably the best lefty bat in all of baseball. What is our immediate reactions to the blockbuster?
Championship, baby. Championship.
He fixes the lineup for sure. We needed so much lefty help.
Yeah, I mean, they made two big moves. I'm about it. I'm not screaming championship like Pete over there.
You should be.
We need pitching. Like if the Yamamoto deal gets done tomorrow, I'm excited. If not, then we need pitching. Listen, I'm happy we got two great lefty bats that are going to be fucking slugging home runs into that short porch all year, and I'm pumped about it. But I'm still hurt. I have like battered wife syndrome from fucking Cashman. So
listen, I think we all kind of do, and I give Cashman no credit at all. This is Randy Levine written all over it. Cashman is just the front man talking now.
Listen, we asked and they made it happen, right?
Yes.
We've been bitching and complaining and lamenting and crying and bitching that we need to make a move. And everybody knew this was the move to make. It wasn't Bellinger shooting your wad on him for $200 million for him to get hurt. It was right in front of us. It was Juan Soto the entire time. And I think even the Yankees pulling the move off to get Verdugo the night before, that was the first shot fired, right? Everyone was like, are we out? And then
that was my initial reaction. I was like, we just traded with the Red Sox. I was like, the reason why I was mad about it at first, because I was like, oh no, we're not getting Soto.
But quickly after that, it was made public that we are in. We are still Soto. So I think Verdugo adds another lefty bat in our lineup. I think it's huge. I'm pretty high on Verdugo. I wasn't high on Verdugo for Glaber, but for what we flipped over is nothing. Again, what we sent over to the Padres, Michael King, you're a great reclamation project. Higgy, I love you. It's no sweat off my back, and I think everyone else.
See you later.
Yeah, I said,
never seen Drew Thorpe.
Like, we'll pack the bags, take you to Newark International, and see you later.
Peace. California is that way.
I mean, until we get Dominguez back, right? He's probably going to be out until
July.
I'm going to say August, September.
Yeah, he'll be out.
I mean, this lineup is pretty balanced right now, lefty, righty. So, I mean, from top to bottom, just DJ at third, lead off, Soto, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Verdugo, Glaber, probably Austin Wells, and then Volpe. That's a pretty balanced lineup, if you ask me. Now, it all depend. I mean, what DJ are we going to get? What Rizzo are we going to get?
Hopefully not the concussed.
Yeah, hopefully not the concussed. But I mean, you also we got Grisham in with the Soto trade. He's going to be great off the bench.
And he's a great defensive. I mean, he's not a great bat, but he's a great defensive player. So, those late innings when you need that real defense, he can come in and do that.
Exactly. So I think, given what we have right now, I'm happy with that lineup to roll out opening day.
Agreed.
So, I mean, pitching's next.
Pitching is next.
Yamamoto or bust, right?
It's got to be. It's got to be. Because, I mean, look at what we got right now. You're rolling out Cole, Schmidt, Rodon, and then Nestor. You need more.
That's it. Yeah, we need at least two more. We need at least two more starting pitchers.
Yeah, because listen, I mean, Yamamoto's great, and I'm all in on this guy, but you gotta remember he only pitches every 6 days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Yamamoto, you have the guy from the fucking Padres who won the Cy Young.
Oh, Blake Snell. That's right. No one's talking about Blake Snell.
No one's talking about him. He's still available. Gumby is going to be back in pinstripes. You heard it here first.
They're saying he's not coming back.
He's coming back.
Talking about Monty?
I don't
Yeah.
think.
Montgomery's coming back.
Yeah.
Texas can't take him because they're in financial peril right now. So,
well, that's what happens when you go for it.
well, they went for it and they did it. So let's go for it.
Fuck them picks.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them picks. But yeah, at that end, find us a closer. Josh Hader's still available, floating around.
I want Hader.
Yeah.
Mix him up with Holmes. I sign Wandy Peralta again. He's good for us out of our bullpen. They were saying Jordan Hicks, another one. So I don't know.
There's pitchers out there.
There's still moves to be made. This was just the first cannon shot. I think we got one more left in the artillery there. Boom, yeah. Fire off a missile.
All right.
Mr. Gold, your reaction for Juan Soto.
Yeah, like you said, I think that Juan Soto we got at the right price. We didn't overpay for a 1-year deal essentially. And hope you resign him. But Juan Soto doesn't make a championship team.
There needs to be more.
It just doesn't. There has to be the lineup's okay as long as some of these guys snap back to reality. But pitching wise, you got one guaranteed win in your rotation. Every 5 games. That's it.
Yeah. So that brings you to the next question. Do the Yankees re-sign Juan Soto?
They have to. That's to be full intention that you made this trade knowing you're re-signing him.
And I think he is. Go ahead, Ray.
I was gonna say I don't think he even hits free agency, to be honest. I think they're gonna extend him in the middle of the season and give him what he wants to stay in New York. Because you know damn well if that boy touches free agency, Steve Cohen is sitting across the city like Scrooge McDuck, just counting his little chips, and he's gonna fucking throw the bag to get Juan Soto in the other side. So if you are the Yankees and this kid he comes out hot like we think he's gonna, you extend him in the middle of the season and don't even let him sniff free agency.
See, two things. One, his agent is Scott Boras, and he is probably one of the best sports agents in sports ever. He knows how to leverage a high quality player. Like, I mean, look what he did with A-Rod. But I think the key was Yankees getting him on the trade was the biggest thing, because there's two things.
He's cheap.
One, you introduce him to the Yankees culture, the Yankees lineup, the fans, everything. That gives you a jump because, hey, this is how we do things here. This is the big time. This is the stage you wanted, the mecca of baseball. This is it. Here you go. You introduce him to that before anybody else can talk to him. Two, you actually get to see what he plays like in pinstripes before you throw $500 million at him, and then he turns into a Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important to be able to have this year to evaluate him, you know,
Exactly.
to see
Because
what you have.
I mean, when we trade, I was the first person on the top of the building screaming, trade for Gallo, trade for Gallo. We did that. Didn't work out like we all had hoped. And then you're stuck with them, basically. So as opposed to throwing 500 million at a guy and then, oh shit, he can't play in New York. I mean, we're kind of dealing with that with Rodon. We don't know what we got with him. I mean,
we don't know yet.
Year one out of the box, a half a year, not too good.
Not good at all.
So this is why I think trading for these players in their contract years, or you get that preview.
Yeah, it's important.
So, I mean,
I have a hypothetical that I'm going to steal from New York Sports Radio that I thought was very, very interesting, and maybe some of you guys have heard it. Say for S's and giggles, the Yankees go out and make all the rest of the moves that we need, like Yamamoto, maybe Hader, like shit like that. The moves that we expect them to make. They say they go out and they win the World Series, and Soto decides he doesn't want to be a Yankee anymore, but we won the World Series with him. Are you mad that he won't come back, or do you not care since we just won?
No, I think we're Yankees fans, man. It's everybody's going to be pissed if he doesn't come back, especially if he wins a World Series, dude. There's not going to be a single soul that's like, oh, good for him. I hope he finds success in San Diego or fucking wherever you go. No, fuck that. You got us a ring. We want more. That's how it is. That's the culture that we've grown up and lived in. So, good luck.
I want 2 rings. I want 3 rings. I want 4. I want Aaron Judge to hold up his fucking big toe at the end of his Yankee career, and there's rings on those. That's what I want.
Yeah, I want him to look like Tom Brady by the end of his career. I want him to sit there like this and just rocks all around.
Yeah, I want his dog walking around the outfield with a collar with a ring hanging from the collar. That's what I want.
Listen, I want that too. It seems like by now for in order for that to happen, he need to have won at least 2 already, and he hasn't even won 1 yet. So I just want to win the one. You got to break the ice. You got to win the one. Get these.
I agree. And
yeah, because as soon as you win that one, then it's going to become infectious, and then they're going to go, all right, we need to do this again and again. Like that's always the first step of making a possible dynasty, is you have to win the first one first. So now
these are the moves that need to be made, and we made the first one. So
now, in terms of Yamamoto, who we have the meeting with him tomorrow, Hideki Matsui will be in attendance. Masahiro Tanaka will be in attendance. The Yankees have sent a scout to Yamamoto's games, or it has sent a scout to every single one of Yamamoto's games for the last 3 years.
Cashman's already met with him.
Yeah, Cashman's already met with him. The rest of the team is meeting with him on Monday. Or I should say more of the brass. I mean, I'm pretty confident that Yamamoto will be Yankee, because usually when Cashman wants a pitcher, he gets the pitcher. I understand that Stevie Cohen, with his bottomless pockets, might offer him just the most ridiculous contract ever for a Japanese player. So there's always that possibility. But I feel like if the money is similar, the Yankee brand in Japan is gigantic. Like, it's just gigantic. Like, every kid in Japan, when they're playing pro baseball, they think about being a Yankee. They don't think about being a Met. No disrespect to the Mets, but that's just how.
One of the guys at work said this to me. Said this yesterday, as Mets and Yankees fans at the firehouse were bickering with each other, and this kid turns around and he tells the one guy, he goes, listen, shut up. He goes, where do you see people wearing Mets hats? Everyone's like, oh, Queens. He goes, all right. Where do you see people wearing Yankees hats? Everywhere.
Around the world.
It's
a global brand. Everyone knows the interlocking NY.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
No, I completely agree.
Dano's probably sleeping right now with his Yankee hat on, and people know what it is down in Tejas, but
people in Texas know.
Cowboy hat with the NY on it. Howdy,
my God.
howdy.
That would be epic. That would be so epic. That would be really good. Well, what besides Yamamoto, and we talked about other pieces, what are players that you guys would want besides Yamamoto in terms of pitching and maybe even hitting or fielding or relief pitching, anything like that?
I still like Pete said, I want to see Wandy Peralta come back. I think he was, exactly what we needed him to be. I still want it, we're from the generation of the old house, like George Steinbrenner. And I want to see the best players in pinstripes. And that's, I have hope to hear that attitude is back. But, I would love to see Bellinger in pinstripes. I would love to see Hader. And if we can't get Yamamoto, go get Blake Snell. I want the guys that are pitching at the highest levels right now and playing at their highest levels right now wearing the pinstripes.
I want them all.
I want them all. I'm greedy. I am a greedy, championship hungry person, and I want more.
We are.
I agree with that. If we don't get Yamamoto, you need two top tier pitchers. I mean, like I said, Snell, bring back Montgomery, bring him back.
Yeah.
Bring back Peralta. Josh Hader, I think, is a must on our checklist to a championship. We don't have a solidified closer. Clay Holmes, as much as I love him, he is very streaky. And when he's on, he's damn near unhittable. But when he's off, it's a rough night when he comes onto the fucking hill. And I'm older. I can't take these stressful leverage situations. I want to know. Again, the old guard, we grew up with the greatest closer, the greatest pitcher that baseball ever saw with one pitch.
You knew what was coming.
And dominant on levels that pitchers today, they dream about. I'm used to the ninth inning, Sandman comes on, fucking 10 pitches later, we're going home with a win. That's what I'm used to. I need that. I want it.
What do you think we need, Jason?
I actually think we should go after Corbin Burns or Brandon Woodruff. Woodruff's still free agent. The Brewers failed to give him a contract, and Corbin Burns is on the trade block. I think the Brewers sort of just don't know what to do. So those are cheap Plan B options. I don't see why we don't go after something like that for our fourth or fifth guy in the rotation or third guy in the rotation.
This finger pointing at you right now, Jason, you're absolutely right. All in on Corbin Burns.
I love Corbin Burns.
Woodruff, I want no part of him. His arm is a wet noodle at this point. Corbin Burns is the one.
He's so underrated. Like, no one, because he's in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Nobody pays attention to anything that happens in Milwaukee. And they've been to the playoffs the last couple of years. You would think more people would be talking about Milwaukee, but it's just not.
They don't have any real stars in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, besides
But they never have.
Yeah. All right. Let's segue to the other big news in baseball. Dropped yesterday by Shohei Ohtani himself with his private free agent meetings. Announced on Instagram he has decided to sign with the Dodgers, which everyone and their sister pretty much predicted was going to happen, that he was going to go to the Dodgers.
I laughed when I saw the Blue Jays thing. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
It's so funny. Me and Jason were talking about that the other day, and we were like, "There's no fucking way that this is going to happen. Like this this has to be fake. This makes zero sense for Ohtani."
That was some Blue Jays staffer that was like, "Oh, I'm going to will this to happen. I'm going to put it on the internet to make it happen."
The hot stove was on fire when the news broke that, well, the fake news that broke that Ohtani was fucking gassed up in the jet on his way to fucking Toronto. Drake was throwing out the Ohtani got the Ohtani jersey on, the Drake curse, right back to LA.
And Ohtani was probably like, "Where's this coming from? I don't know what is Canada. I don't even know what Canada is.
Fucking Canada."
He was probably like, "I don't even know what Canada is. Do they have white race?"
A different country? No.
Country, a different country from this own one? No.
Yeah.
No, not a shot. I just love how the reporter came out and he was like, "Well, I'm sorry. I made
a mistake. I apologize."
It was like John Heyman with Aaron Judge last year. Arson Judge. I love
Ohtani to the Blue Jays.
Oh, that's so funny. I loved every second of it. But yeah, fuck the Blue Jays. They still suck. They're still not even relevant whatsoever. But yeah, $700 million for Shohei Ohtani, 10 years. With a UCL that's now had 2 Tommy John surgeries. Kind of interesting, but I think you have to look at it from a business perspective for the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani as a business is probably worth that contract. Shohei Ohtani, the player, may not be worth that contract, 3 or 4 years in. But the ticket prices and the merch sales for the Dodgers have already gone up like 333% or something like that. So they're going to make a lot of money with Shohei Ohtani and Dodger Blue. But,
he is going to fill this. Not that they were hurting for attendance, but that guarantees that every Dodger game is going to be packed to the rafters. All the way upper deck bleachers are going to be fucking sold out. And all for him. Not to mention that lineup with him, if he's actually playing, like,
it's disgusting.
It's a nasty lineup. But I mean, $700 million for a designated hitter, it's pretty rich for my blood.
It blows past the next, because Mike Trout had the biggest contract in North American sports history. This is like almost double it.
Dwarfs it.
Yeah, it dwarfs it. It's not even like incremental, like, oh, well, now it's at 500. Oh, well, maybe it was 550. No, 700, just right off the bat.
Just put these numbers into perspective. During the season, he is going to make $2.39 a second, $143 a minute, $8,630 every hour, $207,000 a day, $1.45 million a week, $5.83 million a month.
That's so
astronomical number. That's more than some countries' old budget is.
Yeah.
And he's gonna make that in a year.
The Ottawa Senators recently sold for $750 million.
The Oakland A's, I saw this was disgusting, that they, in the past 10 years, their total payroll was like $693 million in the last 10 years.
That's so insane. Do you feel like the Yankees dodged a bullet?
Yes.
Yeah.
That because I don't think he's ever going to pitch again.
Wow, really? Interesting.
But you know what? Here's the bullet that they didn't dodge. This contract is going to have major implications on Juan Soto's contract and what the Yankees are going to have to pay if they want to extend him.
500
His
million.
cost just went up because of this contract.
500 million.
That's true, but Soto's 25 instead of 29.
Young blood.
I agree.
Yeah.
But
I think whatever
if Ohtani signs a contract for 500 million, we're not paying Soto 500 million.
No.
He signed for 700.
200 was to pitch 2 games and then blow his UCL out again.
It's just it's
fully guaranteed.
I
fully guaranteed.
It's the largest contract in North American sports history. And you know what's funny? Jeff Passan actually put out, because Jeff Passan is just the GOAT.
The GOAT-goats.
Just the GOAT-to-GOAT.
Dog. Jeff Passan is a dog.
No. And he actually put out a thread of tweets explaining how the Dodgers structured his contract so that they could still build the team around him to win. The contract is deferrable heavy.
So he's the next Bobby Bonilla.
It's not even that he's the next Bobby Bonilla. He goes into how the Dodgers aren't going to pay him the full $700 million, that like the US government will make sure he gets $700 million. Like, it's this crazy breakdown that he gave up that still makes no sense after you read it like 3 or 4 times. All I know is that somehow, some way, the Dodgers structured the contract so that it's deferrable heavy. They don't have to worry about it till later when he's older, and then that they're not going to pay him all 700. That like the Treasury is going to pay him or something like that.
Right. None of us can retire because Ohtani needs to make it 700 million.
Yeah. Shohei Ohtani just single-handedly got revenge for World War II and made inflation go up.
He saw Oppenheimer and went, "Oh, well, here we go."
Yeah, I'll show them.
I can show them. Wow. Ray, I thought what I said about the white rice was bad. He just drops the proverbial nuke. Just like that.
Podcast is never getting put on any major platform.
That's okay. We're not big enough yet for YouTube to demonetize, because we're not even that monetized. Does Shohei to the Dodgers make them the favorites in the National League?
No.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got a no. We got a yes from Jason, a yes from Pete, and a no from Ray. Explain.
I don't think one player changes your like. I noticed that after the Juan Soto trade, the Yankees are now the 3rd favorite to win the World Series. I don't respect one person changing your entire team's odd. It's still a team sport, right? No. There's how many other guys?
Hey,
how many other guys that need to perform?
I hate to interject real quick, but did you not see what happened when Aaron Judge did not play?
Yeah. Oh no, I saw.
Aaron Judge's toe injury.
Season, we would have made the playoffs.
Yeah, but you know what?
This is my point. But this is you actually are reinforcing my point, right?
One player
now, because listen, I don't respect one person changing your odds to win a World Series, but I will say losing a player will lose you a World Series for sure, right? It's still a team sport. If your team around you is bad, you're gonna be bad when you lose your star player, right? I'm not saying the Dodgers are bad, but I'm just saying, what is your DH? This guy is going to DH for 2 years minimum if he ever pitches again, like you just said. Why does your DH make you a World Series favorite? Tell me.
Well, I mean, they might have been World Series favorites, maybe to begin with.
Every year, the Dodgers are top 3 in
every year.
every year,
Does it,
regardless.
I guess I should have worded the question better. Does this put him over the top in terms of like in the short term?
No, because you're one injury away from being a mediocre team.
You can say you could say that with anybody though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we're in a perfect hypothetical world, when everybody's healthy,
Yeah, but that's my point. Like Shohei Ohtani, right? Yeah, he just got the craziest contract ever. He's not healthy. He's not entering this season healthy. Why does a not healthy player entering your lineup make you an overwhelming favorite?
I'm saying healthy Ohtani.
If he was healthy, I'd probably say, yeah, absolutely. Right? Knowing that guy is going to be one of your pitchers and your DH, I would say, yeah, you're overwhelmingly going to win the NL and World Series favorite. 100%. The dude's not healthy. He's not. So I'm not keen on saying that. Yeah, I don't think I agree with that statement.
Agree to disagree.
Fine.
Well, that's what this show is all about, right? Agreeing to disagreeing.
We all agreed on everything would be boring.
You're not wrong. So I actually have a question for Jason, because this is something that we've talked about throughout this Ohtani saga. How bad do the Angels look now that they didn't trade him?
I mean, the Angels have looked bad for the last 10 years. I think that they're incompetent. I don't think they know how to run a baseball team. You're wasting one of the best baseball players of all time's career. You're wasting everybody's time.
Wasted 2 primes.
I don't understand how you had arguably the 2 best players in baseball on your roster, and you did nothing with it. Nothing.
They went all in at the trade deadline.
Yeah. And they
immediately regretted it.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
He got hurt right after that. It made no sense. Because think about the prospect haul that they could have got for him.
You would have gotten the entire farm for a 3-month rental.
Yeah.
And you kept them for what reason?
If I'm Sam Fold of the Philadelphia Phillies, I am on the phone with the Angels right fucking now saying,
Trout?
What do you want for Mike Trout?
Yeah. I think that might be the next move that happens.
I think the Angels just said they're adamantly 100% not trading them.
Yeah.
Then that guy should boycott and not play, because you're essentially just doing the same thing. If you sit out this year, your career doesn't change, because you're wasting your fucking career in LA. Like they have done nothing for this guy. Nothing.
Yeah.
And like he deserves better. Mike Trout deserves better. So if I'm Mike Trout, I'm marching into the GM. I don't even know who the GM of the Angels is, because he's bad at his job. I'm putting my feet on your desk. I'm looking in the eyes and I'm going, trade me right now.
Yeah. Craziness going on in the baseball world. A lot of the hot stove is just starting to heat up. The baseball offseason takes forever. Even though it's like so short, it takes forever for everyone to kind of sign and for moves to happen. So with that being said, let's move on to a little bit of football. I don't want to get to our picks yet. I want to talk a little bit more. There's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about in terms of the football this season. One of them being, what would you say is the biggest surprise so far in the NFL season? Not necessarily like team, but maybe player, situation, division, anything along those lines. For me, I think the biggest surprise has been CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud being a legitimate MVP candidate in his rookie year is nothing short of remarkable. I mean, this is the best rookie quarterback we've seen since Andrew Luck. CJ Stroud is what we all thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be coming out of college. So to see Stroud be this good right away is amazing. So that's my big surprise of the NFL as we wind down the end of the regular season.
I got a good one because I gotta eat crow on this one. I will rescind one of my statements from about 20 weeks ago and say I am surprised how good Tua Tagliavoa is at football. And he is he's a gamer. He stayed healthy.
And
Yeah. I'm very surprised by that. And good for him for not laying on the ground looking like he's having a seizure again.
I'm not surprised by his play. I'm surprised he stayed healthy because we all knew he could do this with Tyreek Hill. I'm not surprised by what because this is what he was doing before he got hurt last year.
I just thought he'd never be the same player again. I thought after you take a brain injury like that and you suffer like a medical year like he had last year, I just did not see him coming back and playing at that level again because normally you don't. When you see, I mean, look, Vontaze Burfict ruined Antonio Brown's career, ruined his life. So I just sat there and I was like, there's no way this dude's going to come back and be this gangster again and just a gunslinger. Well, he now has almost a 2,000-yard receiver in Tyreek Hill, and kudos. Here's your flowers. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, fucking perfect. Ruined AB. But I think I don't know. There's a lot of this year it was kind of like a lot of teams that under delivered. I mean, you got the Giants, massive disappointment.
Not surprised.
Bengals, I mean, just
Jets.
Joey B destroyed him.
Year of the injury. 8 total starting quarterbacks with season-ending injuries this year.
I mean, you're right. The Jets, Rodgers running out Monday Night Football with that American flag is just the most NFL and like Americana thing. Just get you amped up to run through a wall, and then
on September 11th, Monday night, prime time, just
that was everything.
There, it was all there.
And in bizarro world right now, the Jets only have 3 losses. Aaron Rodgers is the anti-vax king, and he's leading his team to the playoffs. But in reality, not to be. I will hop on the Raiders real quick and just say my biggest surprise is that Mark Davis actually listened to the podcast and pulled the trigger to right the wrongs that were all of Josh McDaniels. So I think that taking place mid-season, I did not expect that to happen. I honestly figured this was going to be a dig your heels in the ground type thing, and we're stuck with this guy for another year. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think, in my personal opinion, I think Champ Kelly comes back. I think Antonio Pierce comes back. And
maybe.
I mean, it was a huge culture change, and I think they're sticking with that. And they're going to let AP bring his own dudes in and swing for the fences.
Your big surprise of the year, Jason.
My big surprise of the year is that the Jets were the only fucking team that was able to beat the Eagles until last week. I didn't get to say that earlier.
Jason's been holding that one in a long time.
He has been.
Other big surprise. My other big surprise is the kind of regression of the Chiefs' offense, and whether or not it's the loss of Eric Bieniemy, whether it's teams figuring out how to beat Pat Mahomes, whether it's Pat Mahomes' luck running out because what he does statistically doesn't make sense for any other football player. And I think eventually time was just going to catch up to him. And all these little flip passes and weird things that he does are finally falling the opposite way of his good fortune. So I'd kind of like to see what the Chiefs, how they finish the season, and what they do in the playoffs.
I think they and kind of rightfully so, overestimate their own quarterback because yes, Mahomes is the best player on the planet at the quarterback position, but when you really don't have anybody to throw to, it's a little difficult. I mean, he just has Kelsey. I mean, Rashee Rice has turned into a nice player. I think he's going to be a solid number 2, but I mean, they're just double, tripling Travis Kelsey, and they're like,
They have no number one.
they have no number 1. They're like, make Marquez Valdez-Scantling beat us, make Rashee Rice beat us. You know,
How
like
many big plays has Valdez-Scantling muffed and fumbled and dropped?
at least 2.
Yeah, so
It cost them.
if they don't go out, I thought they were going to do it at the deadline, but I think somebody like Mike Evans is going to wind up in KC next year because
Mike Evans will have suitors next year.
I mean, the dude has proven his worth. If anyone's ever doubted Mike Evans, you need to shut up because no one's ever done it before, right? He's the only person to have straight 1,000-yard seasons from his.
There's no sign of slowing down. Like
no,
he's kept his body really, really healthy.
And listen, Father Time is going to catch up. Like, I think whatever contract he gets, be it a nice 3-year contract somewhere, which is what I would do. This is it. Like, this is because after that, the regression's coming. Like, I don't see him as like a Randy Moss or, guys that played longer than that. Like, he's a big, huge receiver. The Father Time is going to catch up to your body. Me and Pete are sitting over here at 35 years old and not professional athletes, and Father Time is catching up to our bodies.
Amen.
It is, it's going to happen. So yeah, I'm not, and that's another surprise I can throw in for the year too. It's surprising how superstars last year, we've watched incredible regression in some of these guys because of the lack of care they've put on their bodies. That's a big surprise for me this year.
Yeah, definitely. Trying to think that there's any more kind of surprises that really struck me this year. Obviously, besides
how the Steelers are still at 500 somehow.
You know what? That's a good one. Because the Steelers are awful. They've been awful the whole year. They just have been they just been out coaching people in the fourth quarter of all these games. And now that the injury bug has hit them and it showed their complete lack of talent, they've now lost to 2-10 teams in the span of 4 days.
TJ Watt deserves better.
TJ Watt deserves better. I mean, this has the makings of them like kind of unraveling here towards the end of the end of the season. Like, is this the year that we get Tomlin under 500? I mean, they're 7-6 right now, and it's not looking pretty.
No. I don't know. I hate to bet against Tomlin. So I talked a lot of shit in the beginning of the year, how shitty Pittsburgh was, and then they quietly just went on this run. So I'll keep my mouth shut until the end of the season to see where the dust settles. But another surprise to me, and I mean, Ray's nipples are safe. That's
not a surprise.
That surprised to me.
Least surprised person here, this guy.
Not surprised.
I also in the quarterback Derek Carr down in.
Stop it! Don't flip.
I'm not putting it all on him. I'm just saying that I expected better success with him and that roster.
I think that's a coaching problem too. I mean, I don't want to put it all on Derek Carr. Again, Father Time never loses. The dude
he's gotten the shit beat out of him this year. This is the second time he's been in concussion protocol, and he's not missing the game. He's playing today, by the
way. And that's exactly what I was going to say, man. Like, that dude is
a dog.
He's a dog, dude. He is a fucking dog. He spent his entire career in the Raiders getting his body beaten to a pulp. He goes down to New Orleans, and you're like, yeah, you give him Chris Olave, Mike Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, Alvin Kamara in the backfield. You look at it, and you're like, man, they should be really good. And they're not. They're not. I think the coaching problem that we beat to death on this podcast is clear and apparent there. And I feel bad for Derek Carr. I mean, I don't feel like Derek Carr ever really had a shot. Call it the Carr brother curse, where they've never really had a shot.
I agree. Jason just suffered major technical difficulties. His entire Wi-Fi just crapped out. So he's attempting to fix, and he will be back in hopefully very soon.
And it's back to 3.
We're down to 3.
Down to 3. Hopefully it's not down to 3 for a bit, but I just texted him. I was like, yo, we just lost you. He's like, dude, my whole Wi-Fi just crapped out. So he's attempting to fix.
So what do you think is going to be the biggest surprise with going into the playoffs? What is there something that's going to just catch everybody off guard? Like, do we predict the team to get hot at the right moment? And
Packers.
Did Jordan Love not write back when we wrote him off?
Jordan Love has very quietly been like one of the best quarterbacks in football the last 4 weeks.
He's resuscitated himself.
It's just, you know what? That Packers team was young and they didn't know what they were post Aaron Rodgers. And I think they were just trying to figure it out. And it looks like they've kind of figured it out. They got a lot of young pieces there right now. Love.
The youngest team in the league, I believe.
Yeah, they're one of the youngest teams in the league. So it's looking pretty damn. I mean, it looks like they did it again. Like it looks like they had another guy ready to go. And the pick that we all questioned, with Jordan Love is now looking like it's pretty decent. They have to re-sign him now. We'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out. They got to take care of business. They got to beat the Giants. And that Giants defense has caused 9 turnovers the last 2 games. So
this goes to coaching, I think, too. LaFleur, I think they said he's undefeated in December at home or something. There was like some crazy December stat with the Packers that with him coaching them, they're undefeated in December. He's like 18-0, something crazy like that.
He's 16-0 in December.
Okay, so there you go. That's huge because that's erroneous. Erroneous on all counts.
Ever since that Jay Glazer nonsense report, that Giants defense is playing on fire. 9 turnovers last 2 weeks, more than any defense in football. Not saying the offense will match.
I mean, listen, we are now so far out of the draft fun that I'm going to order my Jaden Daniels quarterback jersey in like 10 minutes here. But
that's pretty much where they're going to pick him.
Yeah. So
he's going to be a Raider, just throwing that out there.
I think I like that better for him, honestly. I think he's a great fit in the Raider system, and I think he can come out and play in that team. I don't think he's meant for New York.
I think the Raiders are going to wind up either with Daniels or we're going to trade for Justin Fields.
Oh God.
The Bears are going to trade Justin Fields. What if the Giants trade for Justin Fields? If
the Giants trade for Justin Fields, all of my Giants gear will go in a box. I will slide that box under my bed with a note on it that says, do not open until Fields is gone.
Yeah, I don't want him either. Listen, I'm just telling you.
You heard it first.
That's a real possibility. So I think the Giants, with the way that the way that their season is going right now, and depending on their opponents the rest of the way, they very well could win 1 or maybe even 2 more games. So
I think they beat the Packers Monday night. Not to jump ahead a little bit, but they're going to beat the Packers Monday night, and we're going to keep tumbling down. And listen, I'm not in the big scheme of things. Like when you look historically at first-round quarterbacks, like when besides Andrew Luck, who's the last big hit? CJ Stroud is now blooming into that right in front of our eyes. So
I mean,
kudos for that.
I guess, can you really count Burrow?
Yeah. You got to count Burrow. I mean, he brought his team to a Super Bowl. You have to count him. Like, I don't care about his. I know his injury history is a big conversation, but he's been in the league what now 4 years.
Yeah, about
4, right? I think
one draft.
you have to put him in the conversation because it's there.
You
But
know what? This quarterback draft class is deep. You know, it really is deep. There's going to be like 5 guys going in the first round. So,
and college football is getting wild right in front of our eyes too. Like, I know you, Zach. I know you hate college football. Pete's pretty in on it. Like, I love college football. I pay a lot of close attention to it, and because I like seeing the future be built in front of our eyes. Right? You realize what's happening with the NIL deals and the transfer portal? It's becoming, college football is now a minor league system for football. People are transferring left and right. Dylan Gabriel had an amazing year at Oklahoma. An amazing year. He comes out and goes, deuces, off to Oregon, boys. Going to win my Heisman. See you later. Crazy.
Like Marvin Harrison Jr.
might not come out
because he's going to make more NIL money staying than he would as a top 5 pick.
Crazy.
Insane. That's
crazy.
Dollars.
How fucking crazy. It's, you know what? And it's the college's fault. It's the college's
fault. It's
fault.
Dollars in your pocket where you will still be one of the best players on planet Earth at your position in the league you're playing in.
Yeah. It's
a championship, right? He knows he's going to go in the NFL. If I'm him, I'm looking at it like, so you're telling me the money's the same. I get to go back and do what I did last year, put my name in more record books, try to go after a championship, which it's Ohio State. They're always going to be relevant, and I hate it, but that's reality. Like, I'm kind of sitting there like, or do I want to go play with the Bears?
Yeah, but he might have a chance to do something special with the Bears if him and Caleb come out.
That's the other half of it, man.
You know, like, do you want to be on that kind of history? Because when the money is similar, then it's got to be about legacy.
Yeah.
So, but you know, all that shit is it's the NCAA's fault. If they just fucking let these players make like a little bit of money from the fucking beginning when all these TV deals were happening like 15 years ago or 10 years ago, we wouldn't be in this fucking situation. But now it's like over the top and too crazy. And now college football has pretty much become like a minor league system. And that's a really good point made by you, Ray. But I mean, there's so many quarterbacks in this class, and a lot of them are older. Like, a lot of them are upperclassmen. Like, Nix is 24. Jaden Daniels is 22, but he'll be 23 by the time he's drafted. Because all these guys have been in college for like 4 or 5 years sometimes.
Yeah.
And, you know, Caleb Williams and Drake May are the pinnacle of the pinnacle. But, you know, say teams like the Raiders or the Giants, we were saying, at least I was saying this. I was like, the Giants are not going to get the number 1 or number 2 pick. Like, they're not bad. They're not worse than the Panthers. They're not worse than the Bears. They're not worse than the Patriots. It's like, they're not worse than the Cardinals. So like, it wasn't going to happen that way.
Yeah.
So
they are the bottom 5.
Yeah. Like, so now as Giants fans, me and Ray, are the quarterbacks we're going to be looking at where we pick, because we'll probably pick like 7 or 8. The picks that we're looking at, because now it looks like the Jets are going to get a higher pick because they just don't have an offense. They're probably going to take a quarterback and have him sit behind Rodgers next year.
I mean,
so you have to. I mean, they know they have to.
I saw a report that they're going to try and trade Wilson in the offseason.
That's why he's starting. They're marching him out there right now to try to drum up some trade bait. That's all this is.
Yeah.
That was them officially waving the white flag, going, it's over, boys and girls. Let's try to showcase our trade piece for whatever's left in the tank. And that's all that is. But in reference to what you're saying, Zacho, I think I'm trying to think realistically now, right? Like, okay, where's our big problems? We don't have a number one wide receiver. Our O-line is getting better, but it's still missing pieces. I like our defense, but I think we need another corner on the side of Banks to fill it out. So in reality, this is going to sound crazy, and I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. Like, I'm almost okay with saying roll out DeVito again. We're stuck with that dime bag douche, and it's like, what do we do next year? How do we build to where we're going to be a successful franchise? Right? We're playing franchise mode in Madden here. I'm almost to the point where maybe we go after a wide receiver. Maybe we go after a position player. And I know. We've had this argument. What happened last time? But we're not picking at 2. If we're at 7 or 8, I'm okay with a top tier wide receiver at that point. Or if you can get the best lineman in the draft, like I'm almost to the point where if best player available, whenever we pick, if it's 6, 7, 8, go after the best player available. Put the best player on the team. I don't even want to say specifically we need a quarterback. It's got to be a quarterback.
I think
best player available.
Got to be a quarterback.
This quarterback class is so deep. It's going to be a quarterback. And the thing is, Daniel Jones next year is guaranteed for him, so he'll be on the team next year. He's going to be the bridge. Because a lot of the quarterbacks that they're going to get aren't going to be as good as, say, May or Williams. So whether it be Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, or Michael Penix Jr., because those are the quarterbacks that are probably going to be there between 6, 7, and 8, they're going to sit behind Jones. And Jones is going to try to prove that he's still good enough to either win a few games or get you to the playoffs again, and then you trade him. Maybe you could trade him for some draft capital right there too. And I'm totally fine with taking best player available because the Giants as a whole are not a good enough team. I think that defense is pretty damn good, and there's some really good foundational pieces on defense. And the defense has been one of the reasons why they've even won games this year. I really think this offseason should be offensive oriented. I mean, as it stands right now, the Giants have pretty much a middle of the pack defense, which is good enough to win you games in the modern day NFL anyway. So it really
and listen, there's ways that you could fix what I'm asking about too, right? If you go out and get Mike Evans, then I'm okay with investing in a quarterback at 6 or 7 or 8. If you go out and get a big name lineman that's available in free agency, if you do free agency right, this changes the whole conversation. As we sit here today on December 10th, it's got to be best player available.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? It very much could be, because I also think that Daboll and Shane want to draft their own quarterback. And I think because they think that Jones is at least good enough to have somebody sit behind him. And I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. They'll probably take obviously I would like Jaden Daniels, the Heisman winner, in that 6 to 8 spot, because I think he's better than Penix and, Bo Nix. But, all those guys are going to go in the first round too. So either way, having a guy sit behind Daniel Jones, and, the one positive thing we could say about Daboll this year is he could develop a quarterback. I mean, he's turning Tommy DeVito into a legitimate backup quarterback in this league. And
I would love to see them bring in Frank Reich as a quarterback coach.
Maybe they do that. I'm sure they do that. But either way, I kind of agree with Pete. It has to be quarterback. It has to be quarterback in this draft. It's so rich in quarterback in this draft.
And so many teams need a quarterback. You can't take the risk of not taking a quarterback, and then one of the quarterbacks that would have been available to you hits. You look like
you lose your job.
That's lose your job type shit.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a really good point.
So, I mean, and that's why I think Las Vegas is going to take a quarterback. I mean,
they definitely will.
AOC is going to be a good backup. I don't necessarily know, or right now in place, we don't have the type of person to develop a a quarterback right now, in which that's why I think if we do bring back Champ Kelly as GM and Antonio Pierce stays as head coach, they need to bring in somebody offensive minded as an OC that can help build a quarterback. And I think somebody like Eric Bieniemy might be a good fit at OC.
They're going to give him the head coaching job there.
Yeah, that dude's definitely. I mean, if he doesn't get a head coaching job this year,
I don't know.
At this point, I don't know. Like, as a Giants fan, like, you're not getting the top two. So, like, in my opinion, try to win. Like, you're going to pick between 6, 7, 8, maybe even 9, depending on if other teams lose. Fucking try to win. I fully believe that they needed to win some games to get some stability in that locker room. I think Mike Kafka is gone after this year. I think they do get a new offensive coordinator, even though this very much is Daboll's offense. They need talent on the offensive side of the ball. I hope Wink stays. I hope all these reports about Wink and Daboll not liking each other isn't true. Both guys have openly come out and said, that's just not the case, whatever. Because Wink is one of the last like elite defensive coordinators in the league, and he's helped develop Kayvon Thibodeau and Bobby Okereke making that next step when he came over from Indianapolis. Deontay Banks, he's the coach for all these guys. So a part of me wants him to stay, and I'll be kind of pissed off if he leaves, especially if they kind of go scorched earth. But it depends on how the rest of the season finishes out. If the defense causes, 3 turnovers on Jordan Love and Tommy Cutlets throws another 2 touchdowns and the Giants beat the Packers on Monday Night Football, then you kind of have to go, well, shit. I mean, now they're a game out. Now what are we rooting for? So
yeah.
Because at that point, that means they got somebody that they could already kind of roll with. Like if Tommy Cutlets fucking goes on this tear, this Brock Purdy-like tear, and I mean, that guy took 10 sacks against Washington, and he still threw 2 touchdown passes and they won, so like he's just not afraid. He's got grit, there's no special talent there. He doesn't have
that kid's living the North Jersey dream, man.
That guy is New Jersey's favorite son right now, and it's like been decent to root for. So I don't know. All right. What other kind of topics do you guys want to discuss here? We're only about like an hour or so in.
Rangers are having a great year.
Rangers are having a really great year.
The Devils are not.
Devils are not. Dan's Islanders, unfortunately, aren't either.
Yeah, no, they've taken a big step back. But hockey's been fun, man. Hockey's been very interesting lately. Connor McDavid is not going to be an Oiler this year. Heard it here first. He will not be an Oiler next year. He's done with that team. The best player on planet Earth is going to go team up with some superstar somewhere. I pray to all that is the hockey gods, it is not Toronto and not Chicago. Please, please, please.
Yeah, that would not be good.
For all you hockey fans like myself, it's going to be a great free agency year. And hockey is fun. Hockey is exciting this year. Watch some ice time.
Yeah, I mean, Rangers pretty much one of the best teams in the league right now. I mean, they've been just smashing people. It looks like that head coach
their doors blown off by fucking Washington last night, but that's they're right now, dude. It's crazy. Like they are winning games. They're coming from behind and winning really tough games. They're gritty. They're hard skating. They have a lot of heart this year. And then the games they lose, they're getting their doors blown off. So it's just strange.
Tale of two halves. So, I mean, in terms of basketball, we just had the first ever in-season tournament wrap up last night. The Lakers beat the Pacers in the finals. A lot of really positive things that I'm hearing about the in-season tournament. The tiebreakers for the seeding and group play was a little confusing, and Adam Silver said he's going to tweak those next year. Because I thought for sure that the Nets were actually going to be a part of that because they went 3-1 in group play, but it was it was all about a point differential. Like they didn't have a high enough point differential. So like that's why teams like Indiana and the Knicks made it because they all went 3-1, but those two teams had a higher point differential. And now because of that, it actually fucks the Knicks over. The Knicks are going to play more road games this year now than home games because of the in-season tournament. But I mean, Knicks are playing pretty decent basketball. Randall's so streaky. He's in one of his hot streaks right now, so that's why they're kind of winning some games.
They can't beat Boston.
Boston is really, really good this year. The Bucks are really good this year. I mean, those are the favorites to kind of go to the finals out of the East.
Mavs, baby.
Mavs are having a good year.
Third in the Western Conference.
But how about my Nets? Winners of 6 of the last 7. They're 12-8 right now. Cam Thomas butting into a scoring superstar before our eyes. Nick Claxton, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is turning into a bona fide superstar too. He has the most 40-point games for a net over the last 25 years. That's more than KD, Kyrie, Vince Carter, Jason Kidd, all those guys. So really like the direction of where the Nets are heading. They have a better record than the Phoenix Suns right now, so kind of happy about that. So basketball has been pretty decent, but I kind of get into basketball right around the All-Star break because that's when you kind of have a clearer picture where things at. The trade deadline kind of pops up. But I might go to a Nets game this year. Tickets are pretty cheap and they're pretty good this year, so might go to one. But Pete, it does look like we will be going to a Yankee game. So it looks like I will be buying your drinks at Yankee Stadium this year. So because the Giants are
Let's go Raiders.
Let's go Raiders.
Do Raiders make the playoffs? They go on a run?
No.
5 straight games?
No. So let's I do have some things I got to take care of. This is finals weeks for me, and football starts in about an hour. I don't think we're getting Jason back. I don't think we're going to get Dan today. So let's pick our winners for this week, and we'll kind of wrap it up there. Yes, we could do this one more time, though. We could do this. There we go. Yes. So let's go ahead and let's pick some winners. We'll do our game of the week, upset, blowout, fantasy players, sleeper. Let's get that rolling. This way I could do a little bit of studying before my finals this week because as soon as football starts, I'm locked in. Locked in the man cave, recliner up, fucking Yingling, we're rolling.
The dopamine hit of the first Octobox of the day.
Yeah, the dopamine hit. I mean, fantasy wise, I don't got anything going on this week. I'm already out of the playoffs in me and Jason's league. I secured a playoff spot in the dynasty league at 11-2. I'm in the last playoff spot in our league here, but I have no quarterback because I was a dummy with my moves. But hey, you never know.
To see it. You hate to see
it. You hate to see it, but you never know what's going to happen.
Stranger things have happened.
Things have happened. Say the Packers gave up 134 rushing yards a game. Saquon might just have a 35-point game on Monday. You never know. You just never know. So, because I think if I win, I'm in, obviously as the 6th seed. But if I lose, I would need help. So again, we'll have to see how it all boils down. So, but let's start with the first game on the slate today. Texans and Jets. Picking the Texans here. I think CJ Stroud gets his first taste of an elite defense, and I think he struggles a little bit here, especially with Tank Dell having a broken fibula. But I don't think the Zach Wilson coming back is going to do it for the Jets, because we've seen it. We've seen what he could do. So I think by the second half, CJ Stroud figures it out, and I think the Texans pull out a win in East Rutherford.
I concur with the Texans pick, and it's a little yeehaw there for Dano. Texans. And in the spirit, because our favorite Texan is probably snoozing at this point, I'm going to go with Houston covering too. It's Houston's giving 3 on the spread, and I'm taking it.
All right, that's pretty good.
I'm gonna flip my Yankee hat here forward, and I'm gonna tip it to the favorite Texan, Dano. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, brother. I'm going with the Jets with the upset. Jets with the upset.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw in the swamp.
Jets with the upset. That's terrible.
You heard it here first on episode 100.
All right. Rams, Ravens. Rams traveling all the way to Baltimore. I'm going to take the Ravens coming off their bye. They're playing great football right now. The Ravens at home is a scary, scary team. So I'm going to take Lamar Jackson and those Baltimore boys against the Rams.
Baltimore.
Ravens. We got Ravens.
And Ravens are getting 7.5. I'm taking it.
All day, son. All day, the Ravens.
Next, Panthers, Saints. Derek Carr's status questionable. We don't know if it's Jameis Winston. It really doesn't matter. The Panthers are the worst team in all of football, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the Saints.
I don't care if Taysom Hill is playing quarterback. The Saints are rolling on the Panthers today.
Yeah, it's I'm taking the Saints as well, but I also think that I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's a battle of 2 poop teams. But it is an interdivisional game, and they always play tough. They always play tight. I'm gonna take the Panthers to cover the spread, but Saints to win money line.
All right. Next, we have Colts Bengals battle the backup quarterbacks. Which one can be better? Believe it or not, the Colts are in playoff position. Gardner Minshew and that coaching staff has the Colts in playoff position. But Jake Browning may have something to say about that. They're in Cincinnati. The Colts defense is not good. There are better weapons on the Bengals. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the Bengals. I'm going to take Jake Browning in the spirit of Joe Burrow, and I'm going to pick the Bengals.
I, too, am going to pick the Bengals because, as we saw, Jake Browning ain't that bad at football. The dude can play. He came out last week against a bad defense and exposed that bad defense and looked like a very good, very usable quarterback. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to use what I put here. The Bengals cover the 2.5 spread.
All right.
Mustache mania. Minshew sucks, but he's still going to get the dub.
Minshew mania.
Interesting.
Bucks Falcons. Bucks in Atlanta. Ray's going with Bucks.
Bucks.
I don't like how the Bucks have been playing football. I'm going to take the Falcons at home.
I'm going a lot of dogs today, and we go with the Bucks.
Yeah. I'm picking the Falcons in honor of Bijan Robinson being a part of my touchdown parlay today. So he better fucking score one. So
I mean, it's either that he's so misused or he's allergic to the end zone.
I think he's so misused it's frightening.
But no, I think Mike Evans always plays well against the Falcons. I think big day out of Mike Evans, and I hate the quarterback play out of Atlanta, but I do think they find a way I think the Bucks and Baker find a way to get it done, and they're going to cover the spread as well.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Falcons at home because for some reason Desmond Ridder always finds a way to win at home. All right. Next is Jaguars Browns. Trevor Lawrence is officially active after initially being diagnosed with a high ankle sprain, which would normally sideline a player 4 to 6 weeks. And that is not going to happen. But even though they're in Cleveland, I'm going to take this will be my upset of the week. I'm going to take the Browns over Jacksonville. Even with Trevor Lawrence playing, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the Browns as my upset of the
Browns
week.
are favored, by the way.
They're favored? Were they favored because they didn't know if Trevor Lawrence was starting?
Right now, the line is minus 145 for the Browns.
To me, it's still an underdog. I know it's very not technically a betting underdog, but I mean, plus 145, that's a pick 'em, pretty much. I guarantee you, if Lawrence was named the starter last night, the lines would have changed. But I'm taking the Browns.
Going Jags. Money line.
All right. What do we got for Raymond here?
Yeah, I'm taking the Jags, and I take the Jags to cover. I know Cleveland's got a great defense, but I think the Jags are playing pissed off after getting embarrassed last week. I think they gotta get it together, realize that the playoff hunt is still on the line here, and you need to play good football if you want to make it to the playoffs. So I think the Jags play motivated today, come out and win the game.
All right. Pretty damn good. Next, we have Lions-Bears division game. I'm taking the Lions, taking Dan Campbell and the Lions.
Dan Campbell is gassed up. And he's to roll because he is a dog.
Kind of agree. Bears will continue. You know what? The Bears are sitting so pretty. It doesn't matter what they're like. We don't care if we win. We don't care if we lose because we're still getting a number one pick. Thanks.
But Justin Fields, 502 yards passing today.
Absolutely.
Keep the nip slip alive, baby.
Yeah, you need 482.6 yards a game to officially win the bet. So I feel so safe, was never in jeopardy. No new piercings for this guy. The Lions are going to come out and embarrass the Bears, and just Dan Campbell's going to have the Lions fired up.
Hey, Ray, why don't you show your confidence right now and put your other nipple up too?
No.
Come on.
Oh.
Come on.
No.
482 yards a game over the rest of the year. Put the other nip up.
Damn, throw the other nip up.
No confidence.
Oh, I was confident. I confidently made that bet.
One Batman, one Robin. Come on.
No.
All right, fine.
All right. Next, we have Seahawks 49ers. This is actually my blowout of the week. I know it's a division game, and usually these are played tough, but the Seahawks are unsure if Geno Smith will even play. They're going to test him pregame because he's been dealt with a pretty significant groin injury throughout the week. So with that being said, I got the 49ers in a big old blowout.
Going Niners too.
Yeah, same. And that's also my blowout of the week. Niners all day. It's like a 13.5-point spread. I got them covering that spread. It's gonna be bad.
All right. So while we're on this game, I have a fantasy related question. In my league, I am in 6th place. I need to win and in. Do I start Brock Purdy or do I start Tua? The look on this. Now, mind you, this league kind of devalues the quarterback. So for a quarterback, usually averages about 15 to 18 points. But
listen, I think the Titans are awful. So Tua probably has the better matchup.
What team is going to go to the run first? Are they going to rely on A-Chain and Mostert, or is it going to be CMC?
That's a good point.
But even in CMC, man, he's always he's catching passes out the back.
I don't think you could
Purdy's
go
going to
wrong.
throw more.
I like Purdy's consistency.
I feel like when push comes to shove in the red zone, they're more apt to throw it than Miami. I think Miami might go Mostert and Achane.
Let's see what the fantasy pros have to say. For this.
What do the fantasy pros have to say on that?
They are overwhelmingly picking Tua over Brock Purdy. 85% to 15% out of 39 experts.
All right.
You know what? Because the matchup's better. The Titans suck. So there it is.
There it is.
Vikings Raiders. I'm gonna make Pete happy here. I'm gonna pick the Raiders against the Vikings. The Josh Dobbs experiment did not look good 2 weeks ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Raiders at home against the Minnesota Vikings.
The fucking nation, baby. Raider Nation. Raiders. All day. All day. All day.
Yeah, Raiders, and I got them covering the spread. Yeah, Raiders.
All right. Next, Broncos Chargers. I'm going to go with Sean Payton's squad because the Chargers have been so bad this year. The coaching's so bad. All the star players are regressing throughout the year before our eyes. Like, besides Keenan Allen, Herbert's been inconsistent the last couple weeks. Eckler has been on a steep decline. I'm going to take the Broncos, who are playing really good football right now, over the Chargers.
Broncos. I agree with everything you just said. I mean, dude, the Chargers put up 6 points on the Patriots. Ugh. Horrible.
Broncos country. That's rad. I'll never pick the Chargers. I've said this 1,000 times. I'll never pick them. However, I hope the game ends in a tie 0-0.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll have to see. Next, we have Bills Chiefs. Bills Chiefs. I'm going to pick the Chiefs at home. Josh Allen and the Bills are some pretty interesting distraction turmoil that we did not see kind of coming, due to Sean McDermott being completely insensitive and not knowing what state he coaches in.
Hot take, because apparently this came out 4 years ago with his ridiculous comment, and he should be fired yesterday for that kind of comment whenever it happened. But I think that the Bills ownership has been holding that in their little pocket right there, saying, we're going to wait until things go bad, and we're going to use this as a reason to fire him and aid our firing him.
Well, how come? How does this leak out? This happened back in 2019, apparently.
Because now the Bills are bad, and they're saying we need a reason to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, because now you know what? Because people don't like him now because he actually is being exposed as a fucking bad coach, and this team has been carried by Daboll and fucking Josh Allen, and as soon as Daboll left, fucking shit is breaking down in Buffalo. The defense has never been any good for the Bills. This is supposed to be a defensive-minded head coach. So, yeah, you know what? The leaking of that really insensitive. Like, how stupid can you be?
Ridiculous.
Like, just how do you think like that? And you coach a New York team. It's almost like next level of incompetence. Next level.
Gross. It's gross.
It's just gross. So you know what? I'm taking the Chiefs at home. Fuck the fucking Bills.
Chiefs.
Kelsey, 2 touchdowns. Chiefs win.
T-Swizzle does a dance in the box. Excuse me. Eagles Cowboys. Sunday Night Football. The rematch. This is my game of the week.
Same.
If Jason was here, if he didn't lose his Wi-Fi like a big old mook, he would obviously pick the Eagles all the way. But the Cowboys and Eagles have split with each other every single year since Dak Prescott has been the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. So I expect that trend to continue. Dallas is home. Going with Dallas.
How about them Cowboys? Yeehaw!
How about them?
Cowboy country. Let's ride.
Oh, you disgusting. How could you do this?
So I hate both teams.
I hate them too.
I hate the Cowboys more.
I hate the Eagles more.
It comes down to I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. I'm a fan of Jalen Hurts. I like him as a person. I like him as a player. Therefore, I am rooting for Jalen Hurts. I would like to see him succeed.
Hurts is a little overrated, I think.
Dak is overrated.
I don't know if Dak is overrated this year. He's putting it all together.
This year. I'm never gonna root for Dak. I don't care. Fuck them star wearing motherfuckers.
I really wish that Jason was here still so that we could just kind of go at each other.
Oh.
I think Hurts is a good player and I think he's a good quarterback and he had a great performance in the Super Bowl. But when his super team isn't playing up to super team levels, he's not exactly the passer that we think he is. So, and about 10 of his 14 rushing touchdowns is just someone pushing him from behind. So
push works, man.
I don't know. I think Hurts is a little overrated. I'll pick. There's about 7 or 8 quarterbacks having a better season than him right now. So him and the MVP talk is a little crazy to me.
I do find that crazy, but
yeah.
Unfortunately, we're forced to pick between 2 teams we don't like, and I'm going with the Birds.
All right. True. We got 2 Monday night games. Doubleheader. We got the Packers in MetLife against the Giants. Giants rocking the legacy uniforms. Tommy Cutlets gets his prime time debut. I'm picking the Giants. The Packers have no Christian Watson this week, so they're losing their number 1 wide receiver. The Giants defense has caused the most turnovers in all of football over the past 2 weeks with 9. I think Tommy Cutlets coming out to the Sopranos theme on Monday Night Football for Troy Aikman and Joe Buck to see 2 tuds, 200 yards, 3 turnovers by the Giants D. They upset the Packers and move within 1 game of the 7 seed.
Let's go. Yeah, I agree. Tommy touchdown, man. It's my upset of the week. Packers are playing great. I think the coach, the Green Bay coach, what's his name? Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
He gets his first December loss of his career, and the Giants continue to ruin their draft stock, and the conversation gets deeper.
LaFleur doesn't lose in December, and he's not losing tomorrow. Green Bay.
Listen, fun fact, Tommy DeVito has a higher passer rating than Patrick Mahomes this year.
He's better than Patrick Mahomes. He's better than Patrick Mahomes.
Just saying statistically this
year. Just saying statistically, over the last 3 games or 4 games, Tommy touchdowns has been better.
Tommy Tutty, baby. Eat cutlets at home.
Listen, it's just these last 4 games. Tommy touchdowns has been pretty damn good with the getting sacked 10 times a game. It's just this. It's an Italian thing. It's the Italian stallion. So
wait for him to get popped in the mouth and fumble.
Popped in the mouth. He's been sacked 22 times. He don't care. He that spit it out. So listen, it's been fun. It's fun rooting for that kid. He lives 15 minutes from the stadium. How do you not love it? So moving on to the other game, Titans-Dolphins. Listen, Will Levis.
Blowout of the week. Dolphins win.
I got the Dolphins too, but after that little Will Levis debut, he's looked
Poo-poo?
pretty poo-poo. It's very, quarterbacks have their debut and NFL defensive coordinators will go, aha, this is what we have to do. So not so
Bobby.
Levis got the Dolphins in this one.
Yeah, I concur on this one. Let it be known that fins up.
Fins up.
Tyreek Hill is gonna go on the assault for the 2,000 yards. He is, and you heard it here first on episode 100. Tyreek Hill.
Flip it, Ray.
Tyreek Hill, NFL MVP.
He should be. I don't listen. I think that's one of the things we didn't get a chance to talk about is who our MVP is this year. For me, it's Tyreek Hill. I think there's a couple of quarterbacks who are all playing so similarly, like Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott. They're having phenomenal years. It's just the teams are so talented around them that I think all these players are making. I really think Dak took a leap this year, because he's had the same situation for years and years. I think Brock Purdy's just has an embarrassment of riches for him around him this year. But no one player affects a team more, in my opinion, this year than Tyreek Hill does for the Dolphins. I mean, without Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins are not what they are. I mean, I've never seen a wide receiver affect a team this much since like Randy Moss. I mean, he's that good. He's that dynamic. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, you make an argument too, but if you take Christian McCaffrey off the 49ers are still a really good fucking football team. So, and their offense probably doesn't suffer as much. I think without Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins offense takes a big step back, and we don't see the kind of numbers that we do out of Tua. We don't see the kind of numbers that we see from the running game, because now because the running lanes are wide open because they have to worry about Tyreek Hill taking the top off. So that's just, I think Tyreek Hill should win both MVP and Offensive Player of the Year this year, but the MVP is a quarterback award. And you know what? MVP should either be Dak's and MVP should either be Brock's. I think it also really should be CJ Stroud, because the Texans would have one win if it wasn't for CJ Stroud. So I think he's a legitimate MVP. Just have fun picking that award this year. That's all I have to say.
Agreed.
Agree.
Who is your guys' fantasy player of the week?
Fantasy player of the week. I'm going to pick somebody off of my fantasy squad that I needed to just erupt. So I'm going to give you two. We're going to have an eruption day. Josh Jacobs.
Good.
Yeah, I got Tyreek Hill. I think he's playing for stats now. He's playing for legacy.
Yeah. My fantasy player of the week, Saquon Barkley.
Ooh, saucy.
Packers rush defense, bottom 5 in the league. Saquon about to have a day.
Sleeper pick?
Sleeper pick. Staying in this game.
Jalen Hyatt.
Coming off his first career 100-yard receiving game. He's starting to figure it out. He's got a nice connection with Tommy Cutlets. So
Cutlets. Jalen Hyatt this week 14. Win or lose. Win or in. You are a dog.
Excellent. Any other sleepers?
Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito as a sleeper.
And Aiden fucking Connell, baby, for the Raiders.
You just, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And you love to see such tragedies happen to honest men for certain teams. So with that being said, if there's nothing more you guys want to touch on.
One last thing I think we should do in honor of episode 100. We should do a family parlay.
Sure. That sounds good to me.
Family 100 parlay. Let's do a TUD score.
Okay.
EMC 2 tuds.
CMC 2. All right.
CMC. Oh my.
Wow, all right. So that'll be leg 1.
Well then fuck
CMC
it. You're going 2 TUD CMC? Going Jalen Hurts 2 TUDs.
Whoa. Wow. All right. Jalen Hurts 2 tuds. I mean, that's fucking hard enough as it is. You want to just stick it at that?
Tyreek Hill.
Oh, come
score
on,
anytime.
Tyreek Hill anytime? Okay. Let's do that. Tyreek Hill anytime.
Saquon Barkley anytime.
Whoa. You just fucking you gotta let Zach get in the mix here. Let him shoot off a missile here.
No, you know, I'll ride with Ray. Saquon anytime, Todd. I'll ride with that. That's all right.
So all right. So
that's 4 legs right there.
I got excited. So we got CMC times 2, Hurts times 2,
Hill 1,
Hill 1, and Saquon 1.
Yeah. That the odds on that have to be fucking,
They gotta be high.
they gotta be astronomical.
I think it's pretty nice.
Listen, could you imagine if that
hang on, let's talk this over. I'm gonna fill this out on Caesars right now, and I'll let you know what the
you know what? I'm gonna do it on air on FanDuel just because I have to see.
CMC.
I have to see what it would be. Because I got plenty of bets rolling right now. But yeah, see, look, we can do anytime Tud.
CMC 2 TUD.
Who the fuck is the 49ers? There they are. How can you pick with 2? How do you give them 2? Oh,
There should be an option.
Oh, to score 2. Here we go. CMC. Bang.
Hurts 2.
Yeah, let's get the Hurts here. Jalen Hurts. Boom. What we got? Tyreek Hill next.
Saquon and Tyreek. Here we go. So on Caesars, 4-legger plus 3,959.
For me, it's plus 4,298.
Okay.
I'm on ESPN bets.
That's not bad. That's like kind of doable.
I'm gonna throw $10 on this.
Me too. Throwing 10 on it.
Throwing 10. 10 yields 400 smackaroons.
Yep. 10 yields for 430.
There you go. 405 for me. Boom. Here it is.
We're rolling.
Live on the screen. We're gonna swipe up to submit that. Bam. Right there. Done. Congratulations. You're in.
You love to see it. You
love to see it.
First live 100. Here, look, for the lovely people at home here. Where are you?
Thing of beauty.
It is a thing of beauty. Oh, look, here it is. For the world to see.
Damn. Oh my God. All right. Now that gets you jacked up right there. Episode 100. How about that?
How about it?
That's pretty damn
one more
good.
time for the people at home. Let's just throw it up. Episode 100. Boom, right there. Go out with a bang. Oh boy. Boom.
Not Ray. Pete. Just, you'll be happy about this. I bought not 1, but 2 of the new CM Punk shirts. They are all on back order.
Shout out to Mr. Punk for breaking the internet.
Shout out to My generation Stone Cold Steve Austin, my generation Stone Cold CM Punk, baby. Getting the 2 shirts in January. Gotta love it. Have to shout out the punker. So with that being said, thank
Wrestling is the movement, Ray.
you. Yeah, listen.
I,
Don't be a
I mean,
hater.
in my world, he's 0-2 and got embarrassed. So
In your world, don't worry about it. In our world, he's my generation Stone Cold. So don't worry about it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, listening over the years. At episode 100, it's kind of crazy to think that me and Jason started this thing in his folks' basement back during COVID. Finally created this project that we had talked about for so long. Sucks that his Wi-Fi crapped out on him, so he couldn't finish the episode with us today. He's texting me, just text me right now that it's just not even working for anything right now. So it is what it is. We'll try to get him back on here in the future. But shout out to Jason for being the partner in crime for most of it. Shout out to you guys for joining the show on the regular this past summer, and riding on with it this whole time. And shout out to everybody that's ever been on the show, like my other brother Nick, Dan, Dylan the one time. We had, who else have we had? Rich, Leonard,
The Pooch Man.
the Pooch Man. We've had a lot of guests on this show, and hopefully we could increase that number as we get what would technically be the next big? Would it be 200 or should it be episode like 500 as the? I mean,
you take milestones, man. 200 is a big one.
Yeah, 200. 200 will take another 3 years probably.
200 or the episode when the Yankees or the Raiders win the fucking World Series or the Super Bowl. That's the next big fucking episode, right?
If the Yankees win, well, yeah, because the Yankees have the best shot right now out of all our teams to make that happen. So let's have, hopefully the Yankees can do it.
Pinstripe Pride, baby.
Pinstripe Pride, Evil Empire. Let's go.
The Mecca of fucking baseball is back. You heard it here first. Episode 100.
So thank you guys so much for everything. This has been a crazy ride, and I'm sure it's going to continue with the craziness of the ever-evolving world of sports. So with that being said, thank you all so much, and we'll see you again next time.
Peace.
Hoorah, hoorah.